Hi, I'm Jake with MegaChess, and today I'm going to demonstrate the assembly of our hard plastic chessboard. So our hard plastic chessboards come in two different sizes. We have a smaller size that has 6-inch squares, and that's going to give you a board that is 4 feet by 4 feet in total area. Then we have the bigger board that you see here. Now this board, it has 15-inch squares and has a total board area of about 9.5 feet by 9.5 feet. The assembly for both size boards is the exact same, but since we're a MegaChess, I figured, hey, let's go big. So the very first step to assembling the board is cracking open that box and separating out the pieces. Let's get started. Okay, so I already have my tiles all separated out, but let's go ahead and talk about the tiles and the different mold types to make it easier for you to separate them out as well. So if you look at the provided instructions on the sketch map, you'll notice all the different squares, and these squares have little black dots and little white circles on them. So these designate pegs and loops. The little black dots, those are pegs. Little white circles, those are loops. So white mold 1, you'll notice there's 6 loops going across the right side, and we got 6 loops going across the bottom. And then going across the very top, we got 6 pegs, and then 6 pegs down the left. So that is white mold 1. You should have 25 of those. On white mold 2, we have our loops going across the right hand side, and then we have the pegs going down the left and across the bottom. You should have 3 of these. White mold 3, there's loops going across the top, pegs going across the left and across the very bottom. You should also have 3 of those. And then white mold 4, you'll just have 1 of these, and it has pegs going across the left hand side and also across the bottom. Black mold 1, you got your loops going across the very top and down the left hand side, and then you have your pegs on the far right hand side and also across the bottom. You should have 25 of those. Black mold 2, you have your loops going down the right hand side and your pegs are on the left and across the bottom. You should have 4 of those. And then black mold 3, you got your loops going across the top, you got pegs going down the left and across the bottom. You should also have 4 of those. So after you get your tiles all separated out, the easiest way I find to start assembling the board is to actually just start laying out the pieces according to the sketch map on the instructions. So you want your pegs and loops pointed in the same direction that you see on the instructions. So let's get started on that. Okay, so now we have the board all gridded out. Before you think I got too far ahead of you, let's go ahead and talk about the how and why we grid out the board first. Now the reason why I like to grid out the board first is because it gives me the reassurance that I have all my tiles oriented correctly and that I'm not snapping any of the wrong pieces together. Now let's talk about how we actually lay them out. Now as you remember from separating out the pieces, we had 24 mold 1 whites and 25 black mold 1s. So that's going to be the majority of our board. And it's going to make up almost the whole board with the exception of that far right hand side and this back side. So let's go ahead and first start on our 7 across and our 7 down. And we're going to start that with our mold 1s. So our mold 1 white, it's got the loops on the right hand side, loops going across the bottom, and then it has the pegs going across the top and across the left hand side. Same with the black here. We got loops going across the right hand side, across the bottom. We got the pegs across the top and down the left hand side. And we're going to alternate white and black, 7 across, white and black, 7 down. And then we're going to walk over here to our right hand side. And these are our mold 2s. Our mold 2s, as you remember, they have the loops that go across the bottom side. They have pegs going across the top, pegs going across the left hand side, and we're going to alternate our mold 2s black, white until we get to the bottom. Now this is our white mold 4. As you remember, there was only one of these. It didn't have any loops. It only had pegs going across the top and across the left-hand side. And then we have our mold 3s. So our mold 3s, they had the loops facing towards the right, pegs going across the top and across the left-hand side. And we're going to alternate black and white until we finish up down here. So now that we have all the tiles oriented correctly according to the sketch map in the included instructions, now we can go ahead and start snapping the pieces together. All right, so now that we have our board all gridded out, we can start assembling the tiles. So to assemble, we're going to start on this top row right here. We're just going to pick this tile up. We take the pegs and just line them up with the loops and give them a firm press. And we're going to do that, working our way all the way down. As you can see, they snap together pretty easily. And we already have a row finished. So then we'll start right back here on this row. And we'll pick up this piece from row 2 and just snap it into first row right here. We'll take our next one and we'll snap it into both of these pieces. So we'll line our pegs up, snap them together, and then we'll work our way down this row. See, I already have 2 rows done, so we'll start right back here and we'll just keep going. And there we go. We now have a fully assembled board. I know when you first open up the box and you see all the different pieces, the different tiles, it may be a little daunting, but by following these steps, separating out the tiles, gridding them out, it makes the actual assembly a breeze. So now our board is all set up, we can get to playing.